Hi, in this video I'm going to teach you how to draw circles. Not surprisingly, or maybe surprisingly, a lot of students have issues drawing circles. It's pretty hard for some people. I used to only teach one way to draw a circle. However, I've learned lots of different ways over the years, and I found that different ways work for different people. So I'm going to show you all of those ways. I want you to get a paper and a pencil, and so you can practice these along with me. Every once in a while I'll show you it, and then I'll say pause the video and try it, okay? All right, so let's change. Okay, the one way that really works for me on drawing circles is called helicopter method. And it's where I learn to rotate my arm. Now my hand is still holding my pencil like I write with, okay? And my hand is still resting on the paper, but the rotation comes from my elbow, not my wrist, okay? A lot of students try and draw a circle like this. And I find if I rotate my arm, where my wrist, it's almost like my wrist is broken, it's in a splint, but my rotation is coming from my elbow, okay? And what I do is I hover over my paper and slowly lower down. That's why I call it helicopter. And I circle around a few times. Now I never draw a perfect circle. You know, if you see these other lines, they weren't perfect. But as I get further around, all those lines kind of average out to be a better circle, okay? Now one thing is it's not a quick process, and I need to draw light. I have a lot of students do this. Why isn't this working? That's not how you do it. Just because you're going fast and going around several times doesn't mean you're going to magically end up with a circle. So it's still a conscious thing. It's still slow. You visualize the circle and then you lower down. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video and practice that. All right, hopefully helicopter method may have worked for you. It may not have worked for you. Don't despair, okay? Everything works for different people. But I do want you to label as you go along your circles so you know what process you used to make them, okay? So that's helicopter. The next method is called hairy line, okay? And there's two ways to do this. Hairy line is just what it sounds like. It's a line that's like sketchy and hairy. I go back and forth. It just helps me kind of, I don't know, have a steady hand and feel like I don't have to do it right exactly the first time. Okay, that's one version of hairy line. Usually most students find it more helpful to turn their paper as they go. Again, you have to kind of visualize the circle. Imagine yourself drawing a hula hoop or an orange, or tracing around a round object like a water bottle or a vase. You're not going to magically end up with a circle, okay? You still have to try and get that circular shape. Okay, so then go ahead and pause the video and try hairy line and hairy line while rotating your paper. Okay, hairy line may have worked for you, it may not have. Hopefully you're practicing multiple times, okay? You may not get it on the first try, but you may get it on the second try, or the third try, or the fourth try. Go ahead and fill up, 10 pages in your sketchbook of circles. That's the one way you're going to get better at it, okay? And then label it hairy line and rotating paper. I want to remind myself how I got that nice circle, because that one's better than my helicopter method. Okay, next one. And there's different sizes you can be drawing these circles. Sometimes helicopter method works if you're drawing a big circle but not a small circle, or this next method I think works for small circles, not so much big circles. So try different sizes and know which works for which size. Okay, the next one I'm going to call half and half. There's two ways to do it, but you can draw the top half of the circle, imagine like a rainbow, and then the bottom half of the circle, imagine a big old cereal bowl, okay? And then you could also do side to side. So imagine a C, big, wide, round C. And then on this side, a big, backwards C, or a moon, half of a moon, okay? Think circular thoughts. It really helps. And so that's called half and half. And you notice I'm doing other things with it. I kind of did a hairy line while doing that. One thing it's not this. Okay, obviously that's not going to work. Think circular thoughts. You do want to get those connected. All right, go ahead and pause the video and practice half and half. Okay, hopefully you're finding some methods that are working for you better than others, your favorites. Okay, and next one is to draw yourself some grid lines, and there's also 2 ways to do this one. So I'm like not great at this one. I've had to work at it, but you can draw yourself a plus sign, and it's very, very important that these 2 lines are equal. So you can measure them with your finger or ruler, make sure those 2 lines are equal. You could also do it with an X. For some reason, it's easier for me to see that my X is equal because I'm kind of imagining a square around it, okay? And then you connect one corner to one corner. Now, the biggest thing that happens on this one is that people, like, even though they're trying to be round, it ends up looking kind of like a kite. You do have to imagine a very round corner like a pie, like a pizza. Imagine a pizza that you cut into 4. You know, like when you're eating a 1/4 of a pizza, it is a very round, or a slice of watermelon too. Imagine how round that edge is. Okay. You may prefer the X or the plus. And I'm using this hairy line to get it round as I go. Okay, go ahead and practice that one. I'm not going to label these ones because it's pretty obvious how I did them. I'm just going to leave my X and my plus. Now, in practical times, if you're going to turn this ball into a basketball or something, you'd erase that in your drawing. But we'll leave it there so we know how we did it. Okay, let's see. What are the other ways that I've done? I don't know if this is helpful, but like I said, everyone has different ways that work for them. You can try drawing yourself a square first, or a square on its side corner. I don't want to call this a diamond. It's still a square. It's just a square turned on its corner. Okay. I don't want to call it a diamond because you might think a diamond shape like that. Okay. And then you fill in that square. You just round off the corners of the square. Okay, and then you'd erase your square afterwards. This one probably takes a little bit of practice because when I've done it, it's sometimes harder than it looks. Okay, but go ahead and practice that one. Okay, again, I'm not going to label that one because it's obvious how I drew it. I'll just leave that square there. Okay, now sometimes there's students who, like, I've taught them all of these ways and they're just like, nothing's working. And I'm like, you know what? Just forget everything I've taught you and wing it. Can you draw a circle in just one try? Maybe that's what works best for you. And, I used to say just wing it. But a student said, wing it, but slow. And I said, okay, let's do wing it, but slow. Boom. Okay. Maybe you're one of those amazing people who can draw a circle and, not have to do anything too fancy. So I'm going to write wing it, but slow. Go ahead and practice that if you haven't paused the video and practiced yet.